your flowers.
Beautiful. That was from
That's
Richard.
so pretty. Look at you. Did you plan that? Like,
Well, I've had this for the event, for the coaching event I'm in. I was kind of setting up the space, and it was like, well, we have flowers that are always in front of me at the kitchen table. But I
yeah.
put them here for the event, and I really like it.
But I mean, your top.
I changed, yeah.
It's so, oh my God. It's so, that's because, we both love these color. Oh,
No, and
so
this one's
nice.
chenille, so it's like my favorite sweater in the world, you know.
Nice.
How are you? Happy belated birthday.
Thanks. Thanks. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm really good. Yeah, yesterday was really sweet. I had I had several birthday video calls with friends.
Oh, I'm so glad your day was full of connection.
It really was.
Yeah.
And then there was, I'm going to call it a high school contingency. I was just like, oh my God. So this woman, her name is Tammy.
Yeah.
I was in her wedding a month after high school graduation. And we kind of, we kind of lost touch over the years, like you do, because it's been 40 years. Oy. And my mom, when she was volunteering before COVID, she was volunteering at the Hershey Medical Center, and Tammy worked there for many years.
Mm.
And so my mom would run into Tammy, and she would ask about me and blah, blah, blah. And so she friended me on Facebook, like years ago, like out of the blue. And I was like, yes, let's just see what. So yesterday, she put up 3 photos of me. Happy birthday, Heidi. Like one from 10 years ago, one from maybe 5 years ago, and then my most recent.
Yeah.
My profile. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe someone created it. I mean, it was really, I mean, it was so sweet, And then all these high school friends wrote on it because they're all, because everyone, it was so sweet.
And are
I
you
was
able
so,
to like receive? Because I know, that's a lot of birthday love to get in a day.
I was actually, because I didn't respond to a lot. I just let it come in.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was saying to myself this morning, like in the last half hour or so, I was like, I really did a good job receiving, because I have a hard time sometimes when it's, because it can feel overwhelming and,
Sure.
all that.
It's why I asked, because I feel like the birthday is sort of the receiving on steroids. And if we're
Yeah.
not good at it, that's the day that can feel like, uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I was in a good space to receive it. I think, because I don't know that I would have been like this a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was good. And then another one of my first year friends who's local, we went to dinner last night, and that was nice. Just a local pub around here. And that was nice, just to be in front of someone and talking, and, and then I have another friend who I will see on Tuesday. And I don't know if we'll do takeout or what we'll do, but we're getting together, so that I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, it's been really sweet.
It's feeling like rich over here to me. Just the plans that you've made, kind of having your own back by creating these environments, for yourself and for others.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it. I missed you
yeah,
yesterday. I was like, oh, we had 50-minute sessions, 10-minute breaks, and those 10-minute breaks were like pee, tea, cracker, sit.
right, right, yeah.
So I was really happy to see you say, well, how about the weekend? I was like, yes, I can definitely do the weekend. I wish
Plus,
you could smell these, because they're just like
oh,
filling up the whole house with the smell.
nice.
Yeah.
Did he pick them from?
He brought them from the market. It's funny because when I first moved to Piermont, he lived here and I didn't know. We had met in the city, thought he was cute, and then I left the city and had seen him at a show and he said, "Oh, where are you moving to?" And I said, "I don't know. I think it's called Piedmont." Like I was so, I just like, I need to get out of Harlem. So he was like, "I live in Piermont." So for every Sunday for like 16 Sundays, he'd show me around like this hike, that hike. He'd find a reason. And it became this unspoken thing that we hung out on Sundays. And at the time I was working with a band and my guitarist friend said, "Oh, so you guys dating?" And I was like, "I don't know. We're hiking. Like, I don't know." Right. Um, especially like 4 months of hiking every week. I was like, I don't know, maybe he's just my hiking buddy. I can't tell. And my guitarist friend was like, "Well, what would make you think you're dating? Like, what does that look like to you?" Which was a great question. I said, "Well, if you brought me flowers, if you took me to like a play, and if you opened my car door, then I'd know we're dating." And a couple of days later on a Friday, he brought me these flowers. He took me to a play and he opened the car door. They're also friends. That's how we met. So it's not
Wow.
just the beautiful flowers, it's like the first flowers he brought me. So they have a very like sentimental place in my heart of like, oh, when we began, and you know, we're just like kids in a lot of ways.
Yes,
You
that's so
know?
sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're both at this Accepted and Connected event. I'm coaching. He's, my classmate.
Okay.
And I wanted to share with you like some stuff from yesterday. This is my teacher, so I learn from him every week. But yesterday he said something that I was like, I got to share this with Heidi. He was talking about within conflict that you're working against your nervous system and your history.
In conflict, you're working against your history and your nervous system. Wow.
Right?
That's
Like
intense.
where it's like you're not a total like douchebag. You're working against
Yes.
the scared animal and the history that can also bring up more of the scared animal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it helped just give me 1 degree of separation of like, oh, it's my nervous system, it's my history, it's not me
Yeah.
per
Yeah.
se. It's really helpful. Yeah. Does that land for you? I mean,
It
there's
does.
more,
And I'm
but
like, as I take it in and I think about putting it into context, it's really helpful.
yeah.
Really, really helpful. Because when I know for me, when I am in the moment of conflict, I'm not thinking about that stuff. Like our brain just doesn't work that way.
Right. You're
Yeah,
thinking threat. I got to disable this threat.
right. I have to protect myself. I have to, whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes so much sense, though.
Yeah. And he was saying that the same instincts that get us to jump out of the way of a car or, would have us be checking ourselves in a dark alleyway. Like we want that place online, but it comes online in the same way during conflict.
Yeah,
So then we've got to get back in the driver's seat. And I just thought, wow, that's so true for me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think you'd love it next time they have another like little event. I knew it was your birthday, but like it's you can geek out on like, wow, this is how we're wired. And
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in that for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, and then I'm doing Janice's vitality reset
Oh,
tomorrow.
how awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm really, and I can't say that I thought, oh, this is my birthday weekend, I'm doing all this. It just sort of, this is kind of the way it played out, which is perfect.
You get to kind of bathe yourself in some of that. I actually really wanted to do that, and I thought I'm going to need a Zoom break after 3 days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's so
So,
sweet. I'm seeing you sort of modeling, how to co-create a birthday celebration during a pandemic, right? Like,
oh yeah, Yeah, I guess I am. Again, not conscious of it, really, you know what I mean? I
I
think
think you're
back here.
modeling for people who are like, oh man, my birthday's coming up. I can't do anything. It sucks. You're like, oh wait, I could plan breakfast, lunch, and dinner with friends, even if it's Zoom,
Yeah,
or if there's a place we're comfortable and local to go, and I could
yeah,
sign up for a workshop and take care of myself. Like just supporting, like modeling that during
right.
this time.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So, I FaceTimed with my sister and my mom yesterday.
How are they doing?
They're good. And so my sister had texted me pretty early. They wake up really early, like at 4,
Oh, why?
because they go to the gym every day.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? But anyway, so she texted me really early. And I mean, my phone is on Do Not Disturb. So people can literally text me any time of the day. And because I have it on DND 24/7,
Yeah.
because I don't like to be distracted. Speaking of, let me just let me DND um,
Patience.
yeah, there we go. Okay. Um,
I love
so anyway,
knowing that about you because I feel closer every time we share something like that, where it's like I don't live on my phone and I check it when I remember I have a phone, but otherwise it's not like an appendage,
right.
you know.
And actually, I remember as I show you my phone, a couple years ago, um, anyway, phone kind of broke down, and I had to order one, and it was going to take like 48 to 72 hours for a new phone to come. I was so excited to be without a freaking phone. I was like, because, and I had shared it with one person. They're like, oh my God, aren't you freaking out? I'm like, no, I'm actually really looking forward to it. Because it's not something and I also don't, like, a lot of people don't know this, but I also don't have Facebook on my phone. I only have it on my laptop, which
Yep.
I feel like I have better control of, if you will. And I was trying to, a colleague of mine and I were trying to do a Facebook Live last week and a half ago. And I was on my laptop, she was on her phone. We were trying to figure it out. And I was like, well, I'll download it on my phone. I'll put it back on my phone. I have to tell you, I can't even describe how it felt physically, but I was like, no, 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 I don't want this on my phone. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. I got to get rid of it. So as soon as it didn't even work, like we couldn't even do it on the phone, I was like, uninstall as quickly as I
Mhm.
could. I don't know it doesn't even matter what it is, but I just know that there's some things that I'm not supposed to
Yeah.
have access to on my phone.
That's like I'm hearing that as like a really healthy internal boundary.
Mm,
The inner no that's like, mm-mm, this is not
yeah,
going to be good for you and we're not doing it. But like a healthy internal, like the guardrails are like, nope, you
yeah,
have more important things to do than this.
yeah.
Nice. And I interrupted you. You said your mom and sister
Oh,
called.
that's okay. Yeah. So my sister and my mom, I FaceTime with them, and then Dawn gave me a virtual tour of their home, and it's very white. it, like everything is white and new, and it looks nice. But I was just like, wow, it felt very sterile to me, you know. And Dawn was laughing, and she said, we're at that place where we have new walls. We're afraid to put holes in the walls. I'm like, I get that. Like, I totally get that, And as I was thinking throughout the day about their house, I was like, well, like once they add a little color, like just put pops of color, it'll just totally change it.
They'll nest a little and it'll look a little more feathered. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Funny.
And then my mom, oh my God, my mom really does not like the camera.
Mm.
She hates the camera. I think she's just so self-conscious about whatever. Like, I don't know. And it doesn't even matter. But what I find so endearing is that, you know, those videos where there's like, and I'm thinking of the animal, like the dodo videos where there's a
Yeah.
dog, like a dog who's been around for a while, and they introduce a new kitten or something, and the dog just doesn't want anything to do with the kitten. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And they're just like, they like literally turn away from it like it's not there. I think my mom was doing something very similar. It was really kind of cute. I don't even know that she's aware of what she does, but I'm thinking to myself, Mom, Dawn is pointing the camera at you. At least look at the camera so I can see you. Oh, oh my gosh, it's just so funny.
Now,
I
did
don't,
you two like FaceTime before, or is this like a huge adjustment for her to be like not face to face with you?
we have, who, my mom?
Mm.
Um, we typically don't FaceTime. We typically talk on the phone. Um,
Or you go visit her?
or I go visit her.
Yeah. So I'm just noting like this is such an adjustment for her to be like, first off, I'm far away, and two, now I've got to do it this way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it was, I mean, I want to see her. I want to see how she's doing. And it's one thing to talk to her, and it's a whole other thing to actually see her. Do you FaceTime with your parents?
I do. I use Zoom with them as
Mm.
well because I'm just a big fan of all the nonverbal cues,
Yeah.
and I'm soothed. It's not 100% the same as being with them, but it's pretty darn close in terms of their laughter, their faces, like just the everything about that. The
Hmm.
phone for me, I feel like I'm missing a lot of cues that are soothing to my nervous system, right? And I feel like I'm like behind a wall a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. I tend to, it's interesting because when I'm at home, I don't necessarily think, oh, I'll pick up the phone and call my parents. But when I'm out running an errand,
Yeah.
it's fascinating that I'm like, oh, let me just call my mom for a few minutes and just see how she's doing.
Yeah.
And then I have this little competition with myself where because she's not one who talks. She's very much like, this is what's happening. She reports and then she's done. So to keep her on the phone for more than 2 minutes, and I'm not exaggerating, is kind of, it's a big deal.
Wow.
So myself and my siblings, we will often be like, well, how long did you keep mom on the phone? And how long did you keep on? And then my niece and nephew, my sister's kids, do the same thing. It's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh. So she's just sort of like, here's how my week went. Click.
Or I don't have anything to report.
Oh,
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm like, well, how are you? Well,
right.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I literally, like, even though she's not on camera, I can see her shaking her head because she does. I'm fine. I'm like, oh, okay, mom. All
Oh.
right. You know,
And she's not like, this morning I was just kind of pondering this thought.
never,
Yeah.
never. That's so not in her. No, it is
That's
not.
fascinating to me because I think, I don't know, I enjoy my mental landscape and like I enjoy sharing it. It's like this morning I was just like making coffee going, I wish there was like a shaman plant medicine CSA. Just a plant that just comes to your door every 2 weeks
Right.
with love and care from a certified place, with instructions on how to do ceremony and like, so there's like stuff like that just running through my head. Like, why isn't
Hmm.
there a plant medicine CSA? Is there? Can someone do that? I
Right.
wonder if it's out there. I need to Google that. Like, and I wonder if, who knows, with your mom, but it's like, I sometimes think that's worthy of sharing because it's something, you know,
Yeah.
that might be on someone else's mind or just might be cool to share
Right.
about oneself. Yeah. Do you ever ask like more motivational, like interview type questions to keep her on the phone? Or do you find that doesn't work?
It doesn't really work.
She's like,
It-
I'm good.
yeah, yeah. And it's really, it's really uncomfortable to take her out of her comfort zone. Like, I enjoy being challenged,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I really do enjoy being challenged, having people asking me hard questions or thought-provoking questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's not her wheelhouse. It's not her comfort zone. So I just, because I've tried, I've made many attempts. Mm-mm,
What
no.
supported you in that level of acceptance that you have now? Like, I'm sure that was a journey for you from
It's a
like
long journey.
wanting to go deep with mom just having, the reporting, the week's news. What do you feel like was like the biggest thing to move the needle for you into like acceptance versus this fantasy that mom will be different or be like you? Or just curious.
Um, I don't know that it's necessarily, I mean, so I worked with Kate Holt for many years,
Mm-hmm.
core energetics, therapist. And I worked, in a group, like it was a group process. And I did a lot of work around my mother. And I also believe that as much as I miss my father, because I miss him dearly, and actually, yeah, in like 3 days, it'll be 13 years. Is that true? 13? Yeah, 13 years. Anyway, but had he not passed, I don't think that I would be where I am with my mom.
Ah, yeah, because you would have been leaning more on your relationship with him.
Well, with him in the picture does not necessarily give me access to her the way that I can't say that I knew this when he was alive, but it was after he passed that I realized the opportunities that I had with her in relationship. And I was like,
Sure.
oh, there's a gift there. Let's take advantage of that. And it was a very slow, very long process, very slow process. But one of the things that I finally got in my head as I was working with Kate was the fact that as much as I want her to change, she will never be the person that I want her to be or expect her to be.
Mm.
So for me to accept her just as she is going to benefit me in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And have compassion for her, to not have the ability to access all the things like she just doesn't have, I don't want to say she doesn't have access to them. I just don't think she has the emotional maturity to access them, or
Or to share them.
or to share them,
Yeah.
or to even know what they are.
Yeah, I'm hearing like literally just surrendering the fantasy that she's going to be any different than herself, which seems to me feel like then that opens up like, okay, I can love this person where
Yeah,
they're at.
right.
Yeah. And not be upset or resentful that they're not getting my needs met, sort of.
Right. Right. And to stop looking to her to meet those needs as my mother.
Mm-hmm.
As I think I fantasize other women having these relationships with their mothers, which I don't even know if that's true, but that's what I make up in my head. And I'm like, I don't know that that's true. I mean, it might be true, but I don't know for a fact that it's the picture that I'm painting.
Right. Like the full besties.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's a rare thing.
I do too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's a rare thing. And and accepting her for where she is and knowing that she's doing the best that she can do as a human.
Yeah.
That's all I can ask.
Like, oh, it's like noting the capacity piece too, right?
Yeah.
Like asking someone, I don't know, it's like we all go up to the ocean, but we have different sized cups. Like someone's got a bucket, someone's got a thimble, someone's got a nice mug. Like, are we going to make that wrong? Or are we going to, you know, like what's the win? The win is acceptance there. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's, and I'm glad that I did the work.
Yeah.
So, so glad that I did the work.
Sounds like you liberate yourself in that work, right?
I
So,
did. I really did. Yeah. Probably one of the best gifts I've given myself.
hmm. Hmm.
And I think also, I don't remember at what point in the grief retreat that came up, but I was like, I had this awareness sometime that weekend where I realized that this is something that I need to grieve. This belief that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And I continue, even I still have moments where I'm like, oh, if she only, and I'm like, but she's not. She's just not.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I can still love her, and I do love her for who she is.
Well, and this is the piece, right? Like this is where you see how big your love is,
Yeah.
right? My mentor was saying yesterday, like we're all difficult and we all have our stuff. And he's like, yeah, come live with me for 5 years and then you'll see how big your love is,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like we all think, and I myself included, like, oh, I'm so magnanimous and I can do this and I've, you know, all this love. And then it's like in real time, you see how much growth your heart still has
Right.
capacity for. Hopefully, that's how I
Right.
feel,
Right.
you know. And one of those pieces yesterday, which I was like, oh God, I know this and it still sucks, was he said in conflict, this was the workshop, he was like, defending yourself is a fucking waste of time. He was like, it's a waste of your breath in conflict. And I was like, oh God, but I do that, right? Like if my number's up, my nervous system is up, I'm like, and I had to sit with, why do I defend myself
Mm,
in conflict? I didn't say that. That's not what you heard, that wrong, you know, whatever. Even when I think it's like super true, but I'm still not listening.
yeah.
And I thought, why do I defend myself? What am I protecting when I do that? And I think it's shame. I don't want to feel shame
Right.
that I hurt someone, that I impacted someone in a negative way, or that I triggered them into their stuff. So then it's like if I defend, I don't have to feel the shame. And what I got in that moment, it was so rich for me because I was like, I believe him that it's a waste of time to defend. And yet I do it. So like what's happening? Like what's going on over here? Right. Like, and I realized, but every time I felt shame, it's put me back in alignment with my integrity. Like even the shame had my back. So why am I afraid to feel the shame?
Right.
Because even that got me to see, like, yeah, you're not in alignment with the integrity, like who you want to be. And that's okay. Like it's a messenger. So it changed my world to be like, oh, I can hear that I said something really petty and it triggered my partner. And I can just go, yeah, makes sense that you're pissed off now. I was being petty and small there without self blame.
Yeah.
I don't know how, like, I still need time to separate the two because I get into like, I've done something wrong, I'm in trouble, I've harmed someone,
Mm-hmm.
shame spiral.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good first step to be like, well, the shame's nothing to be afraid of because it still has your back.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe eventually I can learn not to make it about me feeling shame and just be like, I could see, knowing your history, knowing your nervous system, knowing what I know about you, like that would really upset you or make you feel like I'm scolding you like so and so did, right? Like, and the whole point with the conflict workshop is can you let someone be seen and put your emotions aside? And I think that's huge even for this country, right? Like,
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
just let someone feel validated and seen and heard
Hmm.
without saying, but,
Right.
feels like a big charge, like
I think so.
as an undertaking,
Yeah. Yeah.
to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rich stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely let me know the next time
I
there's,
will.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
definitely be interested in that.
Yeah. We can geek out together. I hate to cut this short, but I have to
Yeah.
get ready to coach later today and dive into that work.
Yeah. Thanks for the time.
Oh my God, my pleasure. At first I was like, oh no, I'm not ready to record. And I was like, this is going to be us. It's like, it's not some, you know, big weighty thing. It's just
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful thought that you had of like, let's connect, and like, who knows
Yeah.
what value and what it brings.
Who knows what's going to come from these, right?
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah.
I
Yes.
love that we're both in our pink today.
I know.
And I love just knowing that you exist and knowing that I get to have this friendship with you. I meant it when I said cosmic sibling. It's like, oh, if I had had a sister, like I would have just loved, just shared a bunk with you.
Thank you. That means so much. That's so sweet. Thank you. Yeah.
Mm.
And thanks for coming to my birthday.
Heck yeah. Thanks for having an extended party so I could make it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm going to close this out.